Good afternoon and welcome to Across the Fence. I'm Jolie Whitney. We're reaching back into our archives today for a story we first brought you in 2010 about the art and artistry of taxidermy. Our story features a couple of taxidermists from Northfield, Rodney and Teresa Elmer. The Elmers' business, Mountain Deer Taxidermy, has been in business for 3 decades. The Elmers see themselves as storytellers, and the stories they tell are about conservation coupled with commemoration. Beyond the stuffing and the sewing and the eyes, taxidermy speaks to how the owners of forest land can affect positive change for Vermont's wildlife and Vermont's wild places. Here's Keith.
There's definitely the blood and guts part of it that is not noontime news type stuff.
Rodney Elmer and his wife Teresa are used to being watched. In fact, it's how they measure success. They're taxidermists.
I think he's good. He's got one eye that's a little sleepy on your side.
If the eyes aren't correct, nothing else matters. That's the first thing people look at is the eyes. And that's what we look. When we look at everything we've done, we look at it in different angles to say, does it follow?
Wait a second. The eyes are supposed to look like that? Isn't that what makes taxidermy kind of creepy in the first place? That and hanging a dead animal on the wall.
It really is weird, but to see a bobcat or see a deer and close up and touch it, that's awesome. For a non-hunter or a city person or someone who's not exposed to the outdoors, it just brings life to them, and that's really what it does.
There's a little bit of that, oh boy, it's looking at me thing. And then when they understand, well, it's just styrofoam, it's just leather with hair on the outside, and those are glass eyes. And then they look at how well you put it together. There's an instant appreciation for nature right away.
The word taxidermy is taken from 2 Greek words, taxis, meaning arrangement, and derma, which refers to the skin. The majority of the hunting that takes place in Vermont occurs in the fall. At their shop in Northfield, the Elmers work year-round, sewing, painting, and sometimes taking a blow dryer to creatures of all shapes and sizes.
It's a gray squirrel, and we're going to mount him in a sitting position.
The Elmers see themselves not so much as artists, but as recreators and restorers. Rodney, like any craftsman, is quick to point out that quality only comes from quality.
How the hunter treats his animal beforehand will make a big difference to how good it comes out. You can't make nice furniture out of old rotten logs. Same type of thing with this. It's only good because nature made it good, and I can't make all of those beautiful hairs and all that, those antlers and those things. People can't do that. Nature can do that, and I'm just kind of putting it back together.
It's a great job. I love wildlife, and the best thing to do is recreate what Mother Nature did. What better job can you have? They put the life back into something.
Female taxidermists are rare. For Teresa, a 7th-generation Vermonter and avid outdoors woman, necessity was the mother of invention as more and more work kept coming in.
It's a difficult profession to get into because it's dominated by men. Most of your customers are men, and there's preconceived notions that it's kind of gory, it's pretty gross in some sense, and women wouldn't do it. And again, we're back to a lot of women weren't hunting 20 years ago. That dynamics is definitely changing, but you've got to slowly do it. So I have a lot of people doubt me that I can do this. They come in, I can show them a lot of things that they didn't expect, and the doubt goes.
Take, for example, one of Teresa's signature pieces, a porcupine.
There's a lot of difficulty in doing a porcupine because you can't touch it. It's like mounting a ship in a bottle. You know, it's a lot more skill in putting it together and not getting hurt, but also getting it anatomically correct. The quills are still in there, and it's just a unique thing to do, and nobody expects anybody to do it.
Call it macabre or majestic, creepy or curious, taxidermy is a practice of preservation, a true still life that recreates a moment and sustains a memory.
When you look at something on the wall, it brings back all those elements, and you relive it, and it makes it real every time. So that's why they want it on the wall. You remember the story. You're not remembering the death of it, but you're remembering the story. And it's so individualized. That's why we love this job.
I would say about half the people go out and purposely try and get their trophy so that they can get it mounted. And then the other half are out there and just happen to have a fantastic experience that they were elated about and wanted to turn that into have a good keepsake of that fantastic time.
We often refer to Vermont as a working landscape. That's true for those who work the land as well as for those who live off of it. Hunting is a tradition here in Vermont. It's part of our culture. There were 70,165 hunting licenses issued to Vermonters in 2009 by the Vermont Department of Fish and Wildlife. That's 11% of the state's population. Animal populations are constantly shifting, and not because of hunting, but often because of development.
One of the principal means of affecting changes in habitat is by manipulating the vegetation. Really, the whole basis of coverts was to, first of all, make people aware of how easy they can affect these changes during the course of a regular timber harvest. But number two, we wanted to have a lay group of experts in this subject matter that are willing to spend time, at least a year, working in their communities to spread the message to other people who own forest lands. And really, that's a big part of it.
A well-managed woodland will safeguard animals, but wildlife don't recognize boundary lines, only habitat. Not so good for the birds and the animals.
Ain't that a beauty?
Hunters, on the other hand,
So what's Teresa think about that?
It was a great day.
All right.
Really cool.
You know, if you asked a hunter and you pressed a hunter on what he or she is looking for, I think it comes right down to a high-quality experience, even more so than being able to harvest an animal. They would love to have a day where they can sit and watch 3 or 4 animals walk by them and not have to shoot, simply because it's not the animal they want to take. At least I choose to think that way. You know, when you make improvements that allow turkey to be far more productive in terms of fledging their young on your land, those birds are going to wander far and wide and may end up on land that has not been improved. And it may be the place where people end up taking birds during the hunting season. They may get the mistaken impression that they took the bird there because it is improved habitat when in fact it isn't. The thing that really sort of allowed that bird to exist and to be healthy is really kind of a mile down the road where the guy improved his or her forests for turkey and other species.
We want to be connected to the outdoors and to be a part of all of it.
for non-sportsmen, taxidermy will always remain on the margins. For hunters, it's only a matter of time before someone decides to pick up a needle and thread and give it a try for themselves. Something Elmer encourages.
I think you need to have a little bit of handyman skills. If you can use duct tape and staples pretty good and fix things together, it makes it pretty easy to want to try it. A lot of it's trial and error. You learn as you go. Some things really come easy and some you got to work at. And it's not really rocket science, but it is a lot of fun, it is artistic, and it's definitely something that if anybody wanted to try, they should give it a try.
And for all the would-be taxidermists out there, if it feels like you're being watched, you're probably doing a good job. In Northfield, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
Thanks, Keith. From the past to the future, I want to tell you about a story we're working on to share with you in the coming weeks. It's another look at how hunting tells the story of Vermont, Vermonters, and wildlife conservation. Let's join Across the Fence's Caleb May as he lights out with the UVM chapter of the Wildlife and Fishery Society during duck hunting season. Here's Caleb.
What makes Missisquoi such a unique place in Vermont and for waterfowl?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Missisquoi is established in 1943 for waterfowl conservation, so it was recognized long ago as a really significant waterfowl habitat. It is now known as the single most probably important waterfowl habitat on the Champlain Basin. It has immense wild rice marshes, which is great food for waterfowl. The area across the river here is a sanctuary part of the refuge, which means it's closed to all uses. And that ties back into the purpose the refuge was established for. So that allows thousands of acres of prime wetland habitat, super high quality wetland habitat, to be available for not just migratory waterfowl, but breeding waterfowl. And what we see is that even during the post-breeding season, a lot of birds, especially wood ducks, will come sit in our sanctuary and molt. And if you know about ducks, they become flightless for a short period of time. And so it's really important to have a good protected and high quality habitat for them to be in. And that's what Missisquoi provides for them. So it's right on Lake Champlain, so it's right in the flyway. It's a very large area, great wetland habitat. And it's been recognized as a Ramsar wetland of international importance partly because of the waterfowl benefits, which is an international designation for biologically important wetlands across the world. So Vermont was 36th in the country, established in 2013, but it ranks up there with places like the Everglades, which are also Ramsar wetlands. So it's a great little fact about Vermont and Missisquoi, and really speaks to the biological importance of this habitat.
How far back is that?
Oh, tertiary.
Yeah.
So, female.
Yeah.
Oh, a bunch.
Yeah.
A lot. Is it a pintail?
Nope.
Oh.
No?
So today we are doing a little educational project with the University of Vermont's Fish and Wildlife Society. We had a class last week to do waterfowl identification for them, and then today they're going to test their skills live at this boat ramp. When waterfowl hunters bring ducks in from their harvest for the morning, they will practice their identification skills with live birds.
What about specking?
I'm glad to be here. It's a great experience getting to talk to some game wardens and see some birds firsthand up and close. Like, that's some good experience that you can't really can't say yes to every week, so.
Got blue on the bill.
Oh, I know what it is.
I love birds, that's what I want to do, and I love any experience I can get, and I was here this weekend for once, so I was like, why not take a jump on it and get some real life experience.
And with that, we've got to fly. From the crew behind the scenes here at WCAX, I'm Jolie Whitney. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.